And ladies and gentlemen, on the runway right now, taking to the sky, the Whitman tip, the red and blue special of the Saglimbene Aerobatic team. Flying the lead position in the red pitch SQS today is Saglimbene. Sag has been flying for over 20 years. He's been flying aerobatics in air shows and competitions for the last 12. He's an oral surgeon, which means he doesn't do anything, he just talks about it. And he practices in northern New Jersey. He lives with his family in Wyckoff, New Jersey. Our wingman today, in the blue pitch S2B, is Ron Spencer. Spence is the captain for a major airline with over 19,000 hours of flight time. Aircraft, there's no way does this cause any limitations to their performance. At Air Show Center, ladies and gentlemen, a 4-8 position. And around they go. 4Gs pressing them down into the seat. The hammerhead turn around. Watch now as Ron performs a full beam hammerhead. Saglimbene performs the claw hammerhead. What's the difference? I don't know. Back down once again for the maneuver named after Hop of a hockey team from Havana. One of the basic maneuvers a fighter pilot learns is the way to route an enemy aircraft on your tail. It's done by reversing your direction, pulling up into a half loop, and then rolling upright while gaining speed at a steep drop. Formation flying came about as a result of a large number of aircraft involved in air combat engagements during World War I about 90 years ago. Trying to get aircraft to fly near each other without hazard requires a lot of training. Aerobatic formation flying harkens back to the 1930 Cleveland air races when the U.S. Army and then the U.S. Navy began flying in front of crowds while doing loops and rolls. Many of the pilots who flew with these aerobatic teams were considered hotshots. Quite sadly, a few of them never came back. Much of the display the split image aerobatic team is doing is what your great-grandparents might have seen in air shows in the 1930s. Sometimes the maneuvers that look easy are the hardest. Look down from your right-hand side as the wingman rolls over a sack from a slightly flies inverted. Over the top and the bottom of the aircraft. Formation flying requires intense concentration and very specific duties from each pilot. The flight lead positions the entire flight display as close to air show center as possible, compensating for wind and density altitude, while the wingman must focus completely on the lead aircraft. The flight lead has to be smooth and predictable so the wingman can maintain position. Watch now as they come inbound for the maneuver that they call the roller coaster. Right now, the pilots are experiencing the same sensation that you experience when you take a roller coaster ride. They'll be going a little faster right to the max red line for the airplane. As they fly through the maneuver, straining against the high sea level. You hear a lot about G-forces at air shows. 1G is the normal force of gravity. What you weigh when you step on the scale. The pilot pulls into a tight loop. The forces acting on his body increases body weight. For a 200-pound man who weighs 1,200 pounds. Sag, incidentally, during his performance will weigh in excess of 7,000 pounds. The next maneuver, the team will be experiencing high G-forces 4 times in rapid succession. The end of the maneuver at 200 miles per hour, and then pull up into the first loop 6 Gs, makes their heads feel like cannonballs. It's hard for them to move their hands and arms to work the controls. Watch now as they approach from the right-hand side to perform the inside or barnstormer's loop in stereo. Watch now for the maneuver dedicated to the famous French artist. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 loops on track. From down into the bottom of their cockpits. Sag providing the lead and Ron Spence flying tight on his wing. The second time, up the road over the top. Floating the aircraft over the top for the second of the 2 loops back to back. Aviation is not inherently difficult, it's terribly unforgiving. This famous quote sums up many of the acts you see here today. It takes years of experience and dedication to be able to fly these aircraft on the edge of their capability and to do it safely. 180-degree turn now as they're coming back toward us, setting up with a maneuver that they call the curved hammer. The curved hammer is a graceful maneuver. The airplanes pull up into a vertical line. They'll do a quarter roll in formation. It means they're turning, rolling, and climbing all at once. The smoke trails will converge as they pivot over the top. Then as they die out, they'll make another quarter roll. There's the pull. There's the quarter roll. Up to the top now, as they fly up until the middle of their back feels light in the seat. Then it's hard left rudder, full right forward stick. They pivot around and on the down line, another quarter turn, realize the backward inertia. The members of the team, Saglimbene and Ron Spencer, met 4 years ago. Sag was flying aerobatic contests and Spencer was just getting seriously involved in the sport. Sag began coaching Ron Spencer, and it wasn't long before Spence was competing against him in advanced aerobatic competition. Their friendship and respect for each other's flying skill is demonstrated here today. This next maneuver is called the Q&A. So finishing up the front contrails and flash the cigarette laid down on the up and around they go for the first half of the Q&A, replicating a maneuver that was first performed in 1936 by a pilot named Len Hovey, leading an international aerobatic he was accompanying a flight instructor at the time. The form of the maneuver you're watching now, that's a competition. When he landed, the reporter asked the name of this new maneuver. Knowing he was playing the bills, he replied, "It's a Q&A." The aircraft you're watching today are the world's famous Pitts S-Series biplane aircraft. First Pitts designed by Curtis Pitts in the 1940s based on a proven high-performance, rugged 1930s fighter design, constructed with wood and metal tubing covered with fabric. They weigh in at around 1,200 pounds empty with a powerful Lycoming AEIO 540, providing exceptional performance. Watch now as the team performs a maneuver describing the line around the inside of the valve. The first position of a constantly changing plane of reference. Cross between a loop and a roll. This is the barrel roll. About 2.5 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, during the early stages in the development of the split-image aerobatic team, one of Sags and Spence's friends was fatally injured while flying aerobatics. Her name was Kathy Jaffe. Kathy was a close friend and instrumental in starting the team. She loved aerobatics and especially air shows. In many ways, she exemplified the kind of person who flies aerobatics. This next maneuver, ladies and gentlemen, is dedicated to her and all airshow performers who lost their lives pursuing the dream of the perfect flight display. As long as the team is flying together, the classic Heart in the Sky will be known as Kathy's Heart in her and in their honor. And your cameras ready, ladies and gentlemen, to perform Kathy's Heart. Now separated by almost a mile of sky, ladies and gentlemen, the two aircraft go to the vertical for individual hammerheads to a crossbox rejoin. One of the basic maneuvers in aerial combat is the ability to meet a foe head-on and then be able to reposition on his tail or 6 o'clock position in the most efficient manner. When you go behind yo-yo, performing your individual hammerheads, notice how the wingman uses his energy to reform on the flight lead. What you're seeing here today may look easy, but I have to tell you that to be able to perform these kinds of maneuvers in formation requires desire, talent, and dedication. Hours and hours of practice are necessary before the airshow season even begins. These guys have to know each other like brothers. In fact, they haggle like brothers. Their performance in the sky depends on knowing each other's reaction, strengths, and abilities. In formation aerobatics, practice is the key. The team is now setting up for their signature maneuver, the Mirror Flyby. Have your cameras ready as from your left, Ron Spence rolls inverted and pulls up for the Mirror Flyby. The Aerobatic team thanks all the people who have made this show possible, and especially each of you for allowing them the opportunity to entertain you. After the team lands, you'll be hearing their aircraft. Sag and Spence will be looking forward to meeting you. They'll be right there by their aircraft. We come back now for the head-on pass for the Mirror pass. They'll perform the kiss-off maneuver, informing the lead that he has slipped the surly bonds of Sag. Look to your left and look to your right, ladies and gentlemen. On your left. Saglimbene on your right-hand side. As they're looking at each other head-on, going down the flight line. Ron Saglimbene touching down to land. Let's watch now as Ron Spence sets up for his perfect landing. As you saw Fast Eddie Luger do a little earlier today with the Alpha Squadron, we're going to be setting up, and I'd like to see a scorecard for his landing because he's going to be making what's known as the Otis elevator approach. Okay, right about 500 feet there, he goes into a heavy forward slip, dropping out of the sky like a polished manhole cover. He lines up for the runway, and listen and watch as Ron Spence performs the perfect two-wheel touchdown. Well, I told you we're going to be perfect. I just didn't tell you we're going to be noisy, that's all. Ron Spence touching down beautifully, and how about a hand, ladies and gentlemen, for the split image Aerobatic team. Doing everything together, ladies and gentlemen. If you